the crowd and the situation?
I believe so. I believe there is nothing new that has been made in this nothing new in this statement. The statement itself, it aligns perfectly with the government strategy to calm the situation down and to quiet the situation. So there is nothing surprising about it, and I highly doubt that the protesters would buy into this statement, because it certainly lacks the measures, because the Crown Prince and the government can certainly take some measures if they want to prove that this is something that they mean it.
The way he spoke
Yes.
to the TV audience in such a patrician way,
Yeah.
perhaps underlines the frustrations that a large part of the population have felt with the way that they have been ruled.
It is definitely, it adds to the anger, it adds to the outrage that within the protesters, because this is being seen very disappointing to the protesters, that their grievances are not being addressed, are not being dealt with in the most effective way, and it just adds more frustration to them, and makes like what we have seen in other places, that higher ceiling of demands. I remember like the first 4 days we were hearing about slogans against the government, but now they're going to the king.
Now they're talking about the king.
Yes.
And the Crown
Yes.
Prince, in fact, we can see the Crown Prince, or we did just a second ago, see him
Yes.
on television.
Yeah.
I want to bring in Mohammed Al-Maskati now, talking to us live from Manama, who's president of the Bahrain Youth Society for Human Rights. Didn't see what happened in the square, but I wonder, sir, whether you saw the Crown Prince on the television and what you made of it, if you did. Mr. Al-Maskati, can you hear us? Well, we'll try and re-establish a good line there with Mr. Al-Maskati from the Bahrain Youth Society. Ibrahim Shakir, this is why you stay sitting next to me, just in case we sometimes can't make our telephone calls work.
Thank you.
But also because you've got a lot of important things to say.
Thanks.
Let's try and talk about not only Bahrain,
Yes.
but also what's happening in Libya. Those are the two main focuses at this hour. Now, what's happening in Bahrain and what's happening in Libya, I would suggest is very different in Libya, because Libya is always regarded to be a very closed society, and that it's almost impossible to work out exactly where the ruler stands, Gaddafi stands, in the affection or not of his people.
I think, thank you, David. This is the comparison between Libya and Bahrain is very important at this point, and we can see many differences actually between the two countries, which might help us try to understand where this is all going. In Libya, we have harmony within the society. We have the conflict is between the people and the government and its apparatus, the revolutionary committees. But in Bahrain, we are increasingly seeing signs of sectarianism, where the government is backed by one part of the society, which is not the case in Libya, where we have a closed society that lacks also the regional support that Bahrain has. Libya is what we know now is the sandwich revolution potential, a potential for a sandwich revolution, that it's surrounded between Tunisia and Egypt, two revolutions. So the regional dimension here is certainly not helping Libya, and this it wasn't very surprising for us to see the demonstrations are coming from the city of Benghazi, who historically played a very important role in revolutions in Libya, and it was the place where also the Libyan figure Omar al-Mukhtar was executed there. And also I'd add to this that it's neighboring, it's very close to Egypt, where we have seen the latest support. So
when I've heard on 3 consecutive nights, people I've spoken to in Benghazi or indeed other Libyan cities in that area say that the people who we are being attacked by are Africans. Now, what they're suggesting is that these people have been brought in and paid for by Muammar Gaddafi to cause friction, to cause trouble. Is there any substance to that from what you've heard?
What we've heard that Gaddafi has so far mobilized all the Revolutionary Committee people, and it won't be surprising to bring other people who would be able to support. But that really does not address the underlying causes of and conditions of this revolution, which is the repression and the economic conditions that the people in Libya that are living, and the frustration, because this just adds to the frustrations in Libya and does not really solve the problem. Even those people, they would be brought into the situation to achieve certain goal, but that does not address the problem.
It might be worth at this stage just getting an overview of the events of the last 24 hours. We've got a report now from Hazem Sika.
A defiant show of support for Libya's strongman. State TV shows Muammar Gaddafi with cheering crowds in Tripoli, rallying behind the man who's ruled them for 4 decades. It's in the face of widening protests that may be the most serious challenge yet to his regime. Inspired by events in Tunisia and Egypt, the biggest demonstrations have been taking place in the country's second biggest city, Benghazi. A number of videos posted on YouTube, but which we cannot independently verify, appear to show the violent response from security forces. Gunshots are clearly heard, and a young man with what looks like a bullet wound to his head is found near a large pool of blood. And witnesses say more demonstrations have been taking place in Benghazi on Friday.
What's happening in Benghazi is a big massacre. People are being killed on the streets. People are demonstrating peacefully. They are asking for a decent life, not more than a decent life. There is in front of me, in front of the main court in Benghazi, more than 50,000 people.
With tight controls on media and communications in Libya, it's been difficult to confirm the extent of the protests and the violence. But with the regime vowing to crush any further attempt to challenge Gaddafi, more unrest is likely to come. Hazem Sika, AlJazeera.
Well, from Libya, I had a chance to talk to Mohammed El-Bakawi, an engineer in Benghazi. He said he's seen the violent response from security forces, and he was sounding pretty desperate when he said he and other people in Libya needed help from outside.
I can tell you today there is a big massacre. While the people were marching to the cemetery, burying 30 martyrs on their way, live ammunition, they were hit with live ammunition in front of the army brigade in Birka. And 4 demonstrators were killed, or barriers were killed. And there is a big massacre happening. We hear every few minutes that there are people killed.
Mr. El-Bakawi, who do you believe fired the shots that killed these people?
The people who fired these shots are the security of the government, the revolutionary committees, and the security brought from outside Benghazi. We don't think that our Libyan people can do this. I think we think that as in Beida, there are some African, French-speaking Africans are being brought to the eastern region to kill our people. There is a big massacre. Here, the people are really upset with the war. It is not possible. Where is the human